Hello and welcome to webinar or Mortgage Coach webinar this morning. This is the Mortgage Coach Friday's beginner session, and to give you an overview of what will be covered today is you get an understanding of what's included within your membership, along with how to create a report from beginning to end. And the report that we're going to be structuring and putting together would be a standard, straightforward FHA versus conventional. Now, if you're attending this call, you should also have your username and password, and this would allow you to log into the Mortgage Coach tool to follow along, and you can create reports as we go along. We're only going to create one report today, and this way you get the visual effect on what that looks like. What you're currently seeing is access to the website here. This is available 24 hours a day. We're not going to spend too much time on here, but just to give you a heads up, you can also view any upcoming events, any new features that have been released, and so forth. So if you ever have any questions, you can always visit our website here and take a look at that. Also, you have the opportunity to make sure that you've downloaded the Mortgage Coach mobile app. If you have not, please make sure you go to your app stores and make sure you download both the Rate Watch and the Mortgage Coach mobile app. Towards the end of the call, when you're following along, you can email yourself the link, and by downloading the mobile app, you will be able to access the link from your email that's available through your cell phone, and then at that point the presentation would be pulled up. So I'll give you a brief demonstration of what that looks like towards the end of the call if we have enough time. Now the session is to carry for roughly 45, right actually around 50 minutes. So if you have dual monitors, what we'd like for you to do is, as you're downloading the Mortgage Coach app, if you don't know how to do that, just simply go to your app store and then you can search for it at that point. So if it's here, you would search field at the very bottom there, type in Mortgage Coach, 2 separate words, and then at that point you will see the 2 mobile apps pull up at that point. Okay, so as you can see towards the bottom there, here's search, and if you have an Android, it would be the Google Play Store. You would have to search for it on your desktop there, just as you would the cell phone. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide you with a brief overview of the steps as to what, once you log into Mortgage Coach Edge, so you get an understanding of what, how it's laid out. Then what I'm going to do from there is take you into the tool, and then you will create a report following along with me side by side. In this way, it makes it easier for you to create the report. So if you have dual monitors, one of the things that I'd like for you to do is to go ahead and make sure that you log in to Mortgage Coach, and I'll show you how to log into the tool. So give me a moment to get there. And you'll see what I'm referring to there. So basically what you're going to do is, when you follow along and you email it to us, you can send it off to our support team, and essentially this is what you would like to do towards the end of the call. So as we create this report, you're going to put it in your own email, and by putting it in your own email, you would place the link that the report that we're putting together today. Okay, so this is to give you an idea. It doesn't have to be exactly written out in this text form, but the link itself that you see there is what we'll be creating today. So then from that point, you email it out to our support team. They'll take a look at it. This is what they would respond back with, just to give you an idea. They'll let you know, this is the way the report looks. We'd recommend adding this feature or changing this, making adjustments here, and so forth and so on. So again, this is what this type of class is for. So if you have dual monitors, we recommend that you, again, log into one side and take it from there. So support at mortgagecoach.com is always going to be your best friends. That means if you have any questions, we don't have a lot live call-in support, so you're going to want to make sure that you bookmark this support at Mortgage Coach. Email them with any questions you have if you cannot find them in the Knowledge Base Center, which I'll show you what that is once we get in there. So this should look familiar to a lot of us. Again, and if you've just logged in and you're preparing to create the report with us, this is what it would look like. You're going to want to make sure that you bookmark the edge.mortgagecoach.com, and by doing so, it make it easier for you to be able to log in. You simply click it, select it from your bookmark bar, favorites bar, and you can access that by saving it to the top right. And by doing this, this allows you to, again, place it on your favorites bar and be able to easily access it moving forward. If you're not sure how to do that, again, this is not the training for it, but we just wanted to give you an idea how to create that quickly. So here's the, of course, you would enter in your username and password. That's going to automatically take you into the system. And again, this is just an overview. We will get into the system and actually plug in the numbers together. The first things that you'll see is the new client, new partner settings options that you see at the very top. And the way they break down is in each step that you see, you're going to see also report tracking, which is some of the things that we're going to be discussing. Anytime your borrowers have viewed a report, it will keep track. It'll also keep track as to how many times they viewed it. Also, if you've put together a marketing report, for example, you see to the left there as government loans. These are headlines or actual marketing headlines that I've created, and then you'll also see the Jennifer Burton option as well. So this will again allow you to track any presentations you've put together. You will be notified. You'll receive an email and a pop-up alert anytime your presentations have been viewed. So from there, when we get into the system, we're going to create a new purchase, and so that would be selected by the new client option, which will allow you to create those options as a purchase, refinance, or marketing. And I would say the last 20 presentations you most recently put together will be structured and left there to the left-hand side that you see, so you can access them at any time. Now, when it comes to creating an open house presentation, you can create that by selecting the new partner section. And what that does is that'll store any recent partner presentations or open house presentations you put together on the bottom left-hand side there. So same concept, okay? The only difference is, again, they're open house presentations, and you can always view that on your own time. You all should have a sample of what an open house presentation looks like, and also you'll have some sample reports in the recent client section if you've already logged in. Now, this View All button that you see there to the right, what this is going to do is allow you to select any clients of previous clients that you wanted to maybe pull up again. So what that'll do is when you select it, it'll pull up this additional page. You can enter in their first and last name, and you would select the search field there at the bottom. Okay, so if it's Susie purchasing, you closed a deal with her 8 months ago, that's what you would enter in here. Now, if you just want to bring up your entire database, you can do so by selecting the search field, and by selecting the search field, it'll automatically pull up your contact section, and this is every presentation you've put together from the new client section, and you can access them at any time. So you have access to that, and you can also copy reports. You can add to each client, so you have the opportunity and the flexibility to go through that. Okay. Now in the settings section, we will get in there to give you an idea of what the templates look like. Most importantly, this is where your contact information is stored, so you are going to want to make sure that your information is up to date, it's up to par, because anytime your presentation is sent out, this is your marketing, this is your branding. This is what will appear at the top right-hand side of the report. So as you'll see, it will be your picture, your image, your headshot, your business and contact information, so you're going to want to make sure that this information, this data is up to par. Now, one of the things that you'll notice in the back screen is that a couple of fields will be grayed out, your first, last name, and email, and also your MMLS number. Any of those changes you would have to email again, support@mortgagecoach.com should you ever in the future need to make those adjustments. Now, if you're through an enterprise account organization, then your admin can make those adjustments at that point. The images, product templates, and fee templates, when we get in there, same concept. We'll demonstrate what those look like and why it's important. That's where you enter in your headshot, you create product templates, and also any fee templates, and that will save you some time in creating a report. Now the help section, this is also another option. This is where you can submit a request to our support team as well. The first feature that you see there highlighted in the blue tier is recommended playlists and scripts. This is most popular for anyone that wants to create a report and does not exactly know what to frame or what type of framing to put in an email, or maybe create a video in this case, don't know exactly what to say when they're sending it out. This provides you with scripts, also any sales trainings or past sales scripts and details. Anything you need, it's there available for you. And the red option right below that demonstrates any most common training videos. So after the call, if you want some further clarification on how to create a purchase or refinance, it's there, also creating videos and so forth. So that's available to you 24 hours a day. The knowledge base center at the very bottom, you can type in any subject field. It's mortgage insurance you have questions on, FHA, and so forth. It'll pull up that subject field at the same time. So we're going to get in here, create select new client, and that's going to automatically take us to inside the system. The first thing we're going to do is use this client, Robert Purchase, so keep that in mind if you want to write that on a note piece of paper. And so Robert Purchase will be our client. From client through affordability, you're going to notice we're going to pretty much go right through it. There's going to be a lot of fields that you can bypass. A lot of this data you've already captured through your LOS. So again, the fields from client through affordability, which is towards the bottom there, you would see. We're going to be spending a lot of time will be in the product section. So the product section is where we create the, demonstrate the products that your borrowers would qualify for or that you're going to be presenting to them through the presentation. From there, you will see that we're going to show you how to bring in the templates, how to bring in the fee templates, and also use quick fields that will help you calculate data. The analysis section, that's where you can make custom adjustments, so we'll spend more time there a little bit moving forward, and then from there it's presentation when you send out the report. So it's really 3 steps to it if you think about it, and we'll show you what that looks like. So the conventional that you see here that's abbreviated, that's the first thing we're going to change, because you only want, this is a 12-character field. You're going to want to make sure that your headlines are not too overextended because it will cut off portions of your presentation. When we demonstrate how to create a product template, you will see that we will access this drop-down, and at that point we can access any of the templates that will apply. It'll fill in the red fields that you see noticed there circled in red, and at that point is where you can make any adjustments from there that the product template does not cover. From there, as we advance to the next step, it'll take us to the closing cost section. From there, you can enter in the closing cost details either manually, just as you see them grayed out there in the back, or you can select the closing cost details option at the very top there, and by doing so, it'll pull up this additional window. Now, again, as we get in here, we're going to show you how you can put together a fee template, and then from there, it'll demonstrate bringing it in. At the very top, you will access the drop-down, and then you will then select any of the fee templates that apply with the product you're presenting to your borrowers. From there is the apply option at the very bottom. It pulls in the details and the data, and then at that point we will take, we'll show you what that looks like, and it'll gray out the fields. From there, the last step would be completing. This is exactly what will take place. This is where the hazard and property tax will apply. We'll show you how you can use the factors to plug in the monthly payments for you, and also how to enter in the reserves and the tax reserves listed towards the bottom. Using the factors will allow you to it'll calculate the data for you. So if you enter in the factors, it'll calculate the dollar amount, so it saves you an extra step there. And to create an additional product, you can select the add another product there option towards the bottom. You can put together up to 4 different scenarios, and we can send it out, and I'll show you how quickly that is as well. In this analysis section, we're not going to spend too much time. I'm going to breeze through this. To give you a quick overview of what you can do here is, if you want to keep it simple, just identify any of the 3 options listed towards the bottom there. That's circle, total net worth, or total principal paid. The standard default is total interest and mortgage insurance paid over time, and then you can advance to the next step and continue to move forward. Where this breaks down is at the top left. You can demonstrate appreciation. You can delete the appreciation rate. The standard is 3%, is just what's in the system. Does not mean that it's the appreciation that you have to use, so feel free to delete it if need be. The short-term analysis controls the short-term savings of the presentation, so this can be adjusted to any benchmark you want it. If it's not 60 months, it could be 84, and so forth. This demonstrates to the borrower, comparing any options you have in place, it's comparing the total interest, total cost of the loan over that time frame that you specify, and breaks down the cost between those 2 products. So you'll see what that looks like also. The bottom right is the long term, so that in itself covers a longer period. So you can feel free to change that to, right now it's the default's 15, you can change that to 30, and so forth if need be. What that'll do is, again, to show them the cost over each of the products you can compare it to based on the benchmark that you have in place, and based on whether or not you want to show them total net worth or total principal paid over that time frame. Okay, so the last step will be just sending the report. So in sending out the report, this is the final step here. This is what it would look like. You would check off the notify me when this report is viewed. Again, I will clarify that when we get in. We're going to generate a link. This point, it will generate this additional window where we will take this link and copy it, paste it into an email as I demonstrated earlier, and then from there send it off to our borrowers. Before we do that, we'll also show you how easy it is to add a video by selecting this option. Then from there, it pulls up the presentation at that point. This is what most originators are currently doing, is they're creating an email in this format. They're adding a lot of text, typing out biographies, which is nothing wrong with it. The only thing is, if our borrowers are continuing to read something like this, they may get lost, not understand the whole thought process behind what you're really trying to express. Instead, with video and you add the link, the concept is you can also rename the link instead so that it makes it easier for your borrowers to access it. The email itself will be a lot more simplistic, so when if they click on the link, the video will pull up, then it's your personality adding and explaining what's taking place. So it makes it a lot easier. Okay? So using those formats. So instead of using this, which is what we're standard, you select it as a PDF, you send it out. We're not going to do that. Again, we're going to place the link so it makes it easier. The difference in that is that you're going to be able to access, and your borrowers will be able to select the link to pull up the presentation, and it pulls up a sample report that you see like this. It covers the 4 options. The summary section is all the details that we spent in the product section. The top right, you'll notice, is the monthly payment savings. I'll show you how that breaks down. And essentially, it's just demonstrating the $104 is what you see to the top left of the summary section at $104.12. It's rounding it down. So what it's saying is that $104 is this new FHA would be $104 cheaper than the highest payment between these 3 products. So when we create the FHA and we get to the end, I'll break it down, dissect it. And this is the 60 months period that we showed you on the analysis. This is how it would show up on the presentation. So that's the cost, and that's what that would look like. Same concept with the bottom right, as you notice in the analysis section. Same concept is it's going to show you in the bottom tier of the report when you structure it and put it together. So now what we're going to do is let's go ahead and get in there and put it together. So hopefully this would have given you more than enough time to log into Mortgage Coach Edge, have your bookmarks already preset, and have the Mortgage Coach mobile app downloaded so that you can see the effects of what we're going to do at this point. So you should see Mortgage Coach Edge. Let's go ahead and log in, myself in this case. And if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat box. I will make sure that I will answer them throughout the call. And then from there, let's see. Lucy, if you don't have any sound, if there's, let's see, picture. Can anyone still hear me? And type into the chat box here. I show everything is fine on my end, but apparently we got a few questions. Okay, so you are good. Okay, awesome. It's like, wow, saving everything fine on my end. Okay, so let me continue the process. Apologize for that, folks. So here we go. So once we log in, we are on the main page. Okay, as we mentioned, recent clients, recent partners, we discussed what the difference between those are. We have the options here located towards the top, including settings, and then the help, as we had mentioned, and what the effects of that. So before we do that, let me show you quickly in settings. Again, this is your contact information, your branding, images, headshot. I'm going to go ahead and identify that since you did not get a chance to see what that looks like. As you select this browse option here towards the bottom, you want to locate where you stored the image and where you saved it, whether that's a desktop, pictures, you name it, specifically up to you. You're simply just going to select the option, open, it'll bring in that image, or you can double click and it'll create the same effect. Same concept with the logo. For those that are individual users, you would have to enter in your own logo. You also have the ideal resolution options or the size that you need. For some reason, it's very blurry. You cannot get the proper resolution for it. Maybe this is the best image you've had. This is an image that you wanted to put in from 1996 or something like that. Just send it to our support team or email them. They'll assist you with that. Okay. Product section. The product templates, we're going to go back to that. What I want to do is spend a little bit of time on the feed templates. We're going to create one quick feed template here, and then show you how it ties into the product. So here's what it looks like. The moment you select new it's going to ask for a template name. So you'll notice in blue here, and if you select the feed template, guys, you're going to have this section completely, it will be blank, unless, again, you're with an enterprise account, you may have that. So let's go ahead and select new here, and let's use conventional, or let's say purchase, and I'm going to use today's date. The magic number is the 3rd. Awesome. And I'm going to select OK. So as you can see, it brings you back to this page. You don't see anything take place, but in this blue tier here where it says template name is purchase and today's date, that's our headline. So you no longer have to save it. Now from here to the bottom right, I can select add feed. The moment that I select this option, it brings up this descriptions there. And at this point, you can see what the standard default is. I can then select a drop-down, identify the description that I need by selecting the alphabet letter. It takes me right there. So if this is an underwriting fee, I can now select it. Then at this point, I want to enter in the dollar amount. So if it's $4.50, for example, select the next drop-down. Let's assume it's processing. I'm going to select the alphabet. Processing. Right? Pretty easy. There it is. Makes it easier for me. Let's assume that the processing fee is $3.50. Now here, appraisal fees, same concept, or you can use this up and down arrow and continue the process from there. So now there it is, application fee, appraisal fee. So if you're following along, you'd like to do and you add those 3 options, you should see the exact same thing. So I'm going to delete this one, this one, this one, this one. I'm just going to leave these 3 options in place for now. Again, no specific reasons, just for time purposes. And at this point, now anytime I go to the right here where it says loan fee templates, if I scroll all the way to the top, you're going to see that now I have the purchase for 3. Now, in your case, if you've created these 3 descriptions, then you should see this purchase field also there to the left. Now, what you're going to want to do at this point by just entering these descriptions is to give you an idea. Anytime you're wanting to add additional feed templates from there, it's really easy. I can take this existing template, okay, and I have it highlighted. I can then select Save As. Whoops, not yet. With this template that I currently have, I can add 2. So let me add a few templates here. I'm going to select drop down, select credit. That's that credit. Say credit fee, or that credit. There, credit report. And let's go down here. Say this is title. Okay, and I'm just going to leave those 2 for now. So I've just added credit and title. It's still purchased for 3, except from there I can save as, and let's say purchase update. Now as I select OK, what's going to take place here is you'll see to the left it's already added that purchase update. So now I have purchase for 3, which provides these 3 options, and then you have the other option there in place. So you can also delete and save as and do as you go along, and then from there, once you've created these options, you make the necessary additions, and then you'd have to go back to contact information to save it. So if, for example, let me go back to 4.3. Let me remove this title and report. I'm going to go back to context, select save, which is in the contact info, and then go back to the feed template here, and that should have saved my update. So now you'll see that even though I've saved as, remember we started off with underwrite, these 3 options here, then we quickly added 2 additional options, and then from there you can see how quickly that is. So again, you get this, it's quick format. The more you create them, the easier you'll see. So now that I've put those 2 options there, I'm going to select the product template section. And from there, these are my product templates. Now what you'll notice here to the right is they're pretty completed. And it starts off with template name, upfront premium, and so forth. Now we're going to start by selecting new here. And by selecting new, you will see that these fields here to the right, under template name and below, they are all blank. There's nothing filled in. So let's enter in FHA 3.5, and let's put today's date next to it. Okay, that's my template name. Remember to abbreviate as much as possible. Upfront premium, that's important. So you're going to select this drop down. What are we working with? What are we creating? It's an FHA. So we're going to select this option. Down payment. Well, how much of a down payment that we're going to be putting down? In this case, it's an FHA. We're going to be putting down 3.5%. And you can create as many different templates as you need to. Okay, so keep that in mind. From there, if there are any prepaids, you can enter that in. The interest rate, I generally leave it blank for the simple reason that rates change often. So at this point, you can always fill that in later. So we're going to leave that blank for now, but the term is important. The term is going to be 30-year option, so it's 360 that we're typing in. This is a fixed loan, so we can leave that in place. If it's an ARM of some sort that you're structuring and putting together, you can select the drop-down, select the ARM option, and here you can enter in the ARM details, and it'll store it. The best part about that, you will not have to re-enter in the details at that point from there. Now, prepaid interest stays same concept. APR-related closing costs. In this case, let's go ahead and touch. We're going to leave that blank. We've already created a fee template here initially, so we don't have to necessarily plug that in. You can. It's specifically up to you. If there are any points in place, same concept. Prepaid interest days, you can select that as well. I'm going to use enter in 15 for now. And non-APR fees are not related. Any seller contribution options, you can do so. Again, this can be FHA with contribution as far as the headline, and then you can enter in the contribution amount there or the percentage option, and it'll calculate that for you. The upfront premium field, that's important. So let's go ahead and select the percent option. So start that again. Click on this percent option. It'll toggle over. You can then enter in the factor, and the moment you select enter, it'll populate this add upfront MIP to loan amount. So as you can see, I can select, and you want to make sure that you check this box off. Now for any other options that requires an upfront premium, you can deselect this option and always change it or make the adjustments later. So now we have the upfront premium in place. Now my hazard reserves are not opening up because I have not brought in any closing costs. Because I have not entered any monthly costs, which has to do with the hazard and property tax, the monthly insurance and the monthly property tax. So we can do that, and I'll show you what that looks like. So for now, if you're following along, again, we've entered in the headline, we've dropped down, selected premium, we've entered in the down payment option here. The term would be 360. It is a fixed loan, which you see right there below in the loan term option. And then from there, we entered in prepaids of 15 years and the upfront premium of 1.75. Now, let's go ahead and select this monthly closing cost option here, and by selecting that, we're going to add the monthly factor and the monthly property tax factor as well. So we're going to select the percent option, enter in 0.35 for today's training, and we're going to use for the property tax as 1.25%. So as you can see, when we get in there and select the product template, you're going to see that it will populate the dollar amounts based on the loan amount. Mortgage insurance, this is important. Now with an FHA, we're not going to enter in the dollar amount. We're going to select this percent option and enter in the standard of 0.85. Now of course, depending on the LTV and the loan amount and so forth, this will determine, that will vary. But remember, you can create as many different product templates as you need to, so you can enter in different factors that may apply with different products. The FHA, one of the options that we know based on guidelines is that the mortgage insurance is to carry throughout the entire lifetime of the loan, through the full 360 term. So we want to make sure we calculate this box, so make sure you check it off. This will calculate based on the number of months that you tell Edge that you want that to carry through. So we're going to enter in 360 months there. Okay. So now we've calculated it's going to take place, and also it's going to tell us how long to carry that mortgage insurance. So we're going to select OK here, and that should close out this file. We've completed it, and we're done there. So that gives you an idea of how to create the product template. Now I'm not going to create an additional one, but you get the idea of how to structure and put one together. You can create as many different options, and the last thing we're going to do is adding to this product is going to be the closing costs that we initially spent time in creating here. So select this closing cost details. And here it's an entire blank field. Select the top drop down, and you will see that there should be the product template, the fee template you should have created. So this is the first one we put together. I'm going to select it as an option. As you can see, it brings in those fields, those descriptions. Now from there, I'm going to apply to the loan. And then you cannot see it here, but when we create the product, you're going to see what that looks like. Okay, so now let's get out of here. Let's go back to home. And let's go ahead and start off by selecting New Client at the very top. Okay, so Robert Purchase is our client. Robert Purchase. Okay, so you want to go ahead and follow along, type in Robert Purchase. From here, the client is really it's a standard default. These two options will not affect the report, so just leave them as is. Again, we're not going to spend too much time on too much detail. A lot of things we may bypass. You'll see that it will not affect the report moving forward. Only has to do with any purchase or refinance that you're putting together. If it's in regards to a rent purchase, rent versus own presentation you're putting together, then you can select the rent option, and as you advance, it will then ask you questions related to rent payment at that point. Okay, so leave it at rent. Referred by, that's pretty self-explanatory. If it was referred by Tina, you want to make sure you add their name. You can send them a thank you letter later. Partner email, this allows you, if you enter in your partner's email here, anytime your borrowers have viewed a report that they were copied on, they will also receive the exact same email alert that you would normally receive once your clients have viewed the report. I'll show you what that looks like before we end the call there. Friendly name, it just helps you identify a nickname. This is optional. I'm going to enter in FHA versus conventional. And this, anytime you get to the purchase, to the home section in the view all, when you store your clients, and let me quickly show you what that looks like here. Remember back when we're creating any products or any clients that you created reports for back, let's assume it was 6 months ago, I can select this search field, pulls up my entire database. But what the nickname does for us is that when we're creating and these clients are continually coming back to us, I can then type in Robert, and here it is, Robert Purchase. So I can select this drop down. See how it shows a timestamp, just 3/27/215 in a day? Now, if you continue to build reports under Robert's name, you're only going to see a timestamp. You're not going to really know exactly what you put together. Instead, when you place the nickname, it shows you, here's the, oh, that's right, on 4/3 I created an FHA versus conventional form. So if I wanted to copy this report, I can then select it, and to the right, you'll see that I can either copy, I can add an analysis, or I can view history and do whatever I'd like to that. So just keep that in mind, that this is really where it helps you. It's specifically up to you. So now let's go back to that section. Once we advance, it's going to take us to the goals section. Pretty straightforward. There's a couple options: support my retirement or pay off my debts and so forth. We're currently creating a purchase, so just select that as an option. Don't make it difficult, guys. Just go ahead and advance from there, and then you'll see that it'll take us right to the assumption section, and we're almost there. So based on the samples that I showed you previously, from client through affordability are the first steps, and as you can see, we're moving through it pretty quickly. Now, anything that's identified in red is really what's most important. So let's go ahead and we're going to enter in and use a purchase price of $385,000. These other options do not apply. Also, if it's a refinance you're putting together, it's specifically up to you. These are not identified in red. They will not affect the report. Where these data will be entered in is when you would advance on a refinance. That's where you would enter in the majority of this data. Okay. So purchase, go ahead and advance to the next step, affordability. Now I'm going to quickly hover my mouse over the bottom window here, the affordability section, without clicking, and you will see two additional windows pull up. They're jump windows. Now we're currently here. We're not going to spend too much time here. We're going to advance, and it'll send us to this section here, which we're also going to skip and go straight into the product section. You can enter in the savings a borrower has. If it's $20,000, I'm going to actually use $30,000 for now. Let's assume they're getting a small rate of return. You will see that when we get to this analysis section, what it looks like. Essentially, what it'll do is take what they have, excluding the down payment, and show them what they have left at growing at this rate of return, if the borrower is interested in seeing that. You can also identify a tax bracket if you'd like, but for now, for training purposes, again, we're going to skip this, and you have a cheat sheet option there that you can always leverage, along with tax credits. So MCC tax credits that you'd like to enter, you can also identify what that is. The standard tax credit generally defaults at about $2,000, the cap, and then you can identify what that percentage is from there. So as we advance, you'll see again, we're here in this can spend. More options, more probing questions you have already retained into your LOS. So again, feel free to bypass it. So we're going to go ahead and move on and get into the product section. First step, let's delete product number 1. Highlight it, delete it, and enter in FHA 3.5. I usually like to put the percent there and then DOWN, so down. Okay, you're abbreviating again. Now this is where it becomes powerful. You can select this drop down, and again, if you have created the template with me earlier, the product template, as I scroll down towards the bottom searching for that product template, you will see that this is the product template that we initially put together. Okay, the FHA with today's date. Now I'm not going to use that just yet for the simple reason that I want to show you how to create it from scratch for those that have not been able to follow along. So the moment you get to this section, you're going to notice that the down payment option is available. You can enter in the dollar amount, or you can make it easy. Select this percent option, enter in the down payment option. It fills it in for you. The interest rate, let's go with 3.5% for today's training. Check your guidelines, but that might be pretty close. The term, 360. This is all the data that we entered in initially in the settings section. Do you recall that? It's exactly what we did. So now we've completed the red fields. They're completely done. If it's an arm, same concept. You select the arm and then you enter in the details by moving forward from there. Now there's one thing we forgot. This is an FHA. So add product from template, we're not going to do that. However, the from premium field right below that, we want to make sure we select it, and then from there we're going to select the FHA option. If we do not identify this when we advance, I'm going to show you quickly that I did not select it. Watch what happens. There's an upfront premium field that will appear right below this contributions field that's important. If you do not check that off, you will not see that field populate. So let me show you what that means. Select this drop down, guys. Let's go ahead and select the FHA. Let's go ahead and move forward here. Now, voila, what do you see? The upfront MIP field. Awesome. So now, enter in the dollar amount. Let's make it easier for ourselves. It's Friday. Enter in the 1.3575 and select enter. And there you go. Add upfront MIP to loan amount. Now, let's check this off. Again, this is all information we already created in the settings section when we created the product. Okay. So, closing costs. Oh, it's blank, right? Well, we can select the drop down again. If you accessed and created the product templates, same concept, you would then bring them in. If you did not, select add fee as many times as you need to, depending on the number of descriptions, and then from there, as we demonstrated earlier, find and locate the descriptions and then make those additions. From there, you will see in this blue tier how they're labeled. If it's a contribution of some kind, you can use it in this format. Let's assume it's $1,500. You can see that by selecting the contribution, it automatically defaults the paid by to lender. Okay, so if it's $1,500, you'll see that now in this blue tier, it marks it as a negative $1,500 against the borrower because they're not going to have to come out of pocket with that, right? So now the lender paid option is there. If you need to switch this to borrower paid, you can do that as well. Now, what if it's an upfront cost and you can't use this contribution? Well, you can select this add custom fee option. By clicking this add custom fee, this can be upfront. I can't type this morning. Maybe the client wants to come up and cover the cost on that. Up front, you can select OK, defaulted whether that's an APR related fee. Then from there, you would see that you can enter in the dollar amount. Let's assume it's $1,500. It offsets there, obviously, but let's say it's $2,000. Okay, so you get the general drift. Now you see that it's borrower paid. It's labeled as APR, and you can always switch this to whatever you need as well. Okay, so same concept. This gives you the idea. If I wanted to apply to the loan at that point, I can do so. So if that was the case, let me go ahead and use the product template initially created. Let's use that one. Okay, I'm going to apply to loan, and as you can see, it'll apply it based on how they're labeled here in the closing cost section. Okay, once you select move forward, the monthly hazard property tax, same concept we showed you earlier when we created and added these. Click the percent option there, and let's enter in 1 1/4. So again, let's use these toggle options to make it easier for ourselves. And then the mortgage insurance, guys, same concept. Click here. 0.85 is our factor. Select enter. Populates the calculate MI balance on field. And as we made it demonstrated earlier, how long do we want that to carry for? Now this 78% you never have to delete. Okay, this is automatically standard This will automatically calculate, especially other loans such as conventional options and so forth that do have a cutoff period when that mortgage insurance is in place. It'll know once it defaults or gets below that 80% LTV. So Edge already does the calculations for you, so just keep that in mind. As long as you have this as an FHA calculator checked off and entered in properly, then you will see that that data is accurate. Okay. Let's go ahead and click Add Another Product, everyone. Let's compare it to a conventional product. So delete product number 2, pretty straightforward. Whoops, look at me. Conventional 2, that doesn't make sense. Conventional 5%, there we go. Now, again, I'm going to show you how the product template and how it comes into play with the third product. You will see how user-friendly that would be. For now, I'm going to show you how this copy from option works because this is another way that you can shorten your time frame in creating products. You can create up to 4 different scenarios. So click Copy From. Now, this is the product template that the product that we just created with our first product number 1. I'm going to go ahead and copy it over. So select OK. Now, what do we see here? It's brought over the exact same details. Now, stay here for a moment. I'm going to advance here. So stay here. Now you see that it's also brought over the closing cost, the upfront, and in the last step it's also brought over the hazard property tax along with the mortgage insurance and so forth. So I'm going to go back to that screen where we were. Okay, so now all we have to do is just make minor adjustments. The reason why I'm doing this is so that I do not have to re-enter in the purchase price, the monthly mortgage insurance and property tax. So I'm going to make the adjustment to 5%. We can change the down payment to just 5% there. And we're also going to update the rate to 3.75. The term is staying put. Then one more field up above, right above the purchase price here, is the upfront premium. We're going to select that and switch it to none. Now moving forward, you will see that that upfront premium field is no longer in place. Now if the fees apply to this exact same product, for example, then I can leave that as is. We're going to assume that at this point, and assuming I don't have to make any more adjustments with the fees moving forward. So as I advance one more time, obviously the monthly property tax are not changing at all. The mortgage insurance is, however. It is a conventional option with 5%, so let's click on the percent option here. Let's make this adjustment. Let's switch it to 0.90 for now. Now this is no longer important. Calculate mortgage insurance on balance. It's not going to be important because of the simple fact that it's already taken the 78% LTV in place. Okay, so we're going to also delete the 360-month term because that doesn't apply either. We know that mortgage insurance is going to eventually drop off with this conventional option, but again, Mortgage Coach will do the calculating for you, and I'll show you when we get to the analysis section. Okay. For now, we're going to stay with 2 products. Stay there. Stay here in this section. I'm going to show you by adding a third. I'm going to show you what that product template does for us. Okay. So let me click Add Another Product here. Do not add another product. I mean, you could just stay as is where you were. Let me just use. I'm not going to use a product name. Let me just use the product template. So the template that we created initially, FHA, today's date, I'm going to select it. Oops. Let me put in the purchase price first. Okay. So this is traditionally what it would look like when it would be product number 1. Now, I'm going to search my product template, today's date, select it. Now, you see that by using the product template, again, that we created, brings in the down payment, does not bring in the purchase price. That's what we entered in. The term, now as I advance, remember we did not enter in a rate. It also brings over the closing cost that was associated with it, the upfront premium that we had originally already selected and checked off for you. Now as we advance one more time, you can also see that the factors that we initially plugged in the settings section when we created the product, it's brought that over as well along with the dollar amounts. Okay, so you can see how powerful it is when you spend the time to create products. It'll take you no time at all to create up to 4 different scenarios if you needed to. Okay, so that's what I wanted to demonstrate to you. So from where you were at, let's go ahead and move forward, and that should take you to this section here, which is the analysis. Again, we could keep it simple. I already explained or broke down the difference between these 4 options. What I am going to point my attention to here is this reinvestment strategy option here towards the middle. I'm going to click it to show you quickly what this does. Now we were referencing the mortgage insurance in that third step of creating the product. Now, in this mortgage MI cutoff month field that you see here, what do you notice here under this 3.5% down option? You see it shows 361. We gave it a little buffer, but essentially it's carrying through that period. Now, if we move over here, this is the conventional option. You'll see that Edge is already calculating the data for you, which means that at this 103rd month, this mortgage insurance is officially going to drop off at that point. Now, this is a powerful thing that you can also do. If you have no other products in comparing to, maybe you're only going to demonstrate to a borrower an FHA product, the secondary product can be how they can pay off their mortgage a lot sooner. So one thing you can also do is if mortgage insurance is in place, I can double click here, and again this is more advanced, but I'm going to show you something that Mortgage Coach can actually do, the power of it. So here's the 103rd. This $274 is officially going to drop off at this time period. I can come up here and I can instruct Mortgage Coach to take that $274, and I'm going to round it off to 230, 274 even. And the moment I select enter, I can then select OK. I can add as many different months as I need to. And now what I can demonstrate to my borrowers is once that mortgage insurance drops off, you're already comfortable with paying that $24.81 payment. If you want to continue, you can pay off your mortgage in 25 years at that point if you choose to go this route. So product number one can be conventional 5% down or FHA, and then product number two can be something like this, demonstrate to your borrower how this can benefit them later on in the future. Okay, so just wanted to show you a quick reference there. I'll leave it there in place. The savings balance that I showed you in the affordability section, same concept, guys. Remember the $30,000 we make reference? Here's where you would also be able to show them that. So again, not in this section, but you'll see on the report. Again, here is the small rate of return we entered in. This is how much they would have left over after the down payment. So as you can see, this is what that structure would look like should you want to enter that in. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward here. Contact information. This would be the borrower's address. This would be the TBD, to be determined address, or the listing address of the property that they're looking to purchase. And I'm going to just enter in. So if you'd like, go ahead and enter in 123 Rose Street, Irvine, California, or you can enter in your property address of your branch where you're located there this morning. Okay, so once you've entered that in, feel free to leave this optional or blank at the very top. So let's go ahead and advance and hear what you can see. So now you can see we're close towards the end. Any product you do not want to appear on the report. So this is a great perfect example. Deselect that option and it'll no longer appear on the presentation. So we don't want this scrap product to appear there. Standard default total cost analysis. Payment notes, your compliance department will love you for it, so you want to make sure that this makes reference to anything you need. So taxes and insurance are included, as we know. If yours is blank, then you want to make sure you type that in. Estimated taxes and taxes and insurance are included. And any additional payment notes that you'd like to add, you can do so. Maybe it's a niche product that requires a specific FICO or so forth, then it'll appear on the report with these two asterisk marks, okay? So cool. So here's simple. Let's go ahead and advance. Now, you're going to see that as we click forward 4 times, you're seeing the exact same 4 quadrant options that you saw originally in the analysis section. Maybe I've changed my mind, and that's why I can make adjustments. So if I wanted to switch this to 84 months, I can now do that, okay? So it's just a different place, an additional place you can make adjustments. So click forward 4 times, and it should take you here to this location, okay? So if you follow along, you should give yourselves a hand clap. You're done. You've completed. You're done with the report, so that's awesome. So from here, you can print. You can save as a PDF if you feel more comfortable with that format. I strongly recommend, though, is that you select the preview option and then print it and save as a PDF from that format instead. It'll come out a lot clearer for you. Check off this notify box so that you do receive an email anytime your borrowers have viewed a report. So when it's viewed, you will receive that email. You can either click on the report or you can either touch base with your client at that point because you know that they're near a computer or they just viewed it from their mobile phone, okay? Quote date's very important. You want to make sure that you select it. If your borrower comes back 3 months later and tries to hold you to that 3.5%, you can say, wait a minute, that was April of 2011. You can't use that. So anyway, so go ahead and select the date there. Generate link is how you can generate the option of the presentation to be sent out. And as we mentioned earlier, you want to make sure that you generate the link so that you can access the your email. When you come in here, here's the alert. This is what it looks like, just to throw this out there. It tells you your open house presentation for the name of the client has just been viewed. If that was an open house presentation, if it's a total cost analysis, which is what we're putting together, that's what it would say here. It tells you they viewed it for 22 minutes and 46 seconds, along with, you can click it here, and the contact information that we entered in that I had you fill in with your recent address or your location, this is what will appear on the email there for you. Okay, so you would grab an email. Let's assume this is the email that you email template that you've put together. You can then take the link, copy it, and for those that are following along, again, if you'd like to pull up an email now, you can, and then just place it into an email, and you can send it to our support team as we speak, and take a look at it, and we'll help you out there. So here's what you would do as an originator: is you place it into an email link like that, and anything you'd like from there. Now, as you can see what this originator did, and we took his sample, and he entered in, and he used also Rate Watch, which was included, to give him an idea of what's taking place in the market. He's like, well, by the way, here's an example of what it looks like on the market and so forth. So this gives you an idea, and let me get these pop-ups here. There it is. So this gives you an idea. Once you send it out to your borrower, they can then access the link from there. I'm going to send this to myself so that you can see what that looks like. There it is. Okay. And you will see, and let me delete this here. Now, the moment I send it off, that's it. It's ready to go. My borrower will then access it from either their laptop, their computer, or from their mobile if they happen to be on some form of transit, or maybe at the park with their kids, at a coffee shop, you name it. Okay. Now, before we get back to that, so keep that on the shelf for right now, in the suggestion box. From here, what you would do is you would click Add Audio Video. Before you get the link and you want to send it out, let's click Add Audio Video from here. Now, the moment that the report pulls up, the bottom left-hand side, it says Disclosure, and now you can also select this Record Message option. Now, if you don't know what to say, one of the things that I'm going to show you where you can access and gain samples is the scripting. The scripting breaks down like this. So when you receive it, I'm going to show you how you can access it, you can gain access to it, and you will see that towards the top, this is what it looks like. I can take any parts of this scripting and either read along with it. As a trusted mortgage professional, I'm committed to delivering, great experience, financial options, you name it. You can come through here. It says borrower scripting, how to position yourself with clients, and so you can use any parts of these in an email. And if you're speaking with realtors or partners, you can also do the exact same thing. So this is going to be available for you. I'll show you how you can access it. And again, put together your own scripting. Copy and paste it. Tweak it out however you need to. And again, use it to your advantage. The other thing is you can also take this bottom tier, which is the very last page, and it instructs you as to a checkoff list. What should you create in video? Making sure that you either had enough energy, or was the video too long? Did I include this or that? These are options that you can use, and again, you'll have access to it. Select Record Message. So as you select Record Message, you'll see that the image immediately pulls up. So hello everyone, happy Friday. And my name is Joey. I'm one of the national trainers here at Mortgage Coach. So our goal again is not to show you how to sell the tool, it's to show you how to understand this report, create it, so it can be more effective when you send it out to your clients. So now if I want to record my message, you're going to see it says no record message. I can select record here, say something like this. Hello Robert, my name is Joey, and if you're receiving it, let me get rid of this and let me stop it here. Let me try one more time. Hello, Robert. This is Joey. I just left you a voicemail as well, but wanted to follow up with an email message as to the report that we'll be covering. And if you notice at the top left, you will see what's called the summary section. That breaks down 2 different products that we'll be covering or discussing during our conversation. You'll notice the loan amount, the interest rate, the monthly payment, and so forth. And what I will do is I'll break down this entire report to give you an understanding of what products are in place, and based on our conversation and the budget that you had in place, I'll demonstrate to you what kind of options and what that looks like. You'll also be able to see closing costs and so forth by selecting the More Information tab there at the top left. Looking forward to speaking with you. And tell Nancy that I said hello. We'll talk to you soon. I select Stop, Record Complete. I can replay it if I'd like. So from there I can replay it, trash it however I need to. Now I feel comfortable with that. I'm going to close this out here. Now I can go back and preview it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to dissect the report quickly, and then I'll show you what that looks like when you access it. So anytime you're breaking down the report, the summary section has to do with loan amounts, reduction payments, payment option terms, and so forth. And what the graphs cover is this $10 that you see here to the top right in the blue section is, if you take this monthly payment of $24.81 minus this $47.71.70, gives you the difference of this $9.79. So that's the $10 that you see there to the top right, which is showing you in graph form the difference between these two payments. Now obviously this FHA is $10 cheaper than this conventional 5% down, so that's what it's saying. Okay, the bottom left-hand side, the 60 savings over 60 months, we covered that. Remember, that covers the interest, the closing costs that they've paid over that time period in principal. So this 2621 that you saw me highlight is what you see here at the top left summary section under the savings over 60 months, 2006-21. That's the difference in cost between these two products. So if I select this More Information tab here, if I need to go into further details with my clients, if they happen to be difficult, the total interest that I would pay with this FHA option over the next 60 months is $84,418. Total cost included within this loan would be $1,250 for the total cost of that loan over that time frame at $85,688. Same concept with the conventional 5, with the closing costs added. This is my total cost for the conventional. Hence, you subtract these two dollar amounts, and that tells me that this conventional 5, based on your budget, is going to save me X amount of dollars. So what you see here is in graph form, and that's exactly what that does. Same concept with the long term. The difference there is that that's just showing total interest and so forth. If you want further details, you can go in this More Information tab. Okay, more information here at the top. Summary section, the breakdown, everything that we've entered into the product section. This is what you would demonstrate and show to your borrowers. So same thing that you see on a cost feet worksheet. The closing cost details is all the details that you've entered in the closing cost details section, along with this fee details, which explain and dissects the difference in description fields. Okay, the investment sections, this is where we entered in the adjustment of the mortgage insurance, so you can also demonstrate that to them as well. So now, to leave you with this, as I go to, and I'm going to bring over my mobile here, to close with this, whoops, well, that's, when you bring your cell phone or you access the presentation, and that could be from a computer, this is what your borrowers see. So as I close with this, and let me show you the help option. Remember, you know how to access the scripts as I mentioned earlier. Let me close that out, and let me bring up my email. And as I go to my email here, oops, here it goes. Here are your financing options. This is the email that I sent to myself. If this is my borrower accessing the email that I've now provided them via email, that doesn't make sense, but here's the email that I sent to them. As long as they can access this from their cell phone, from their laptop, or from computer, select click, and you're set, ready to go. So what this will do is this will open up the presentation. It's loading right now. And internet's a little slow. And the concept is that what it'll do is it'll pull up the presentation. And it's not loading at this point, but it'll pull up the presentation, and then the borrower can view it from their mobile. So if you followed along and created a report, send yourself that same email, or the email that you sent to support. Access that email from your mobile, and you'll see what that mobile version looks like. Other than that, folks, take care, and if you have any additional questions, you can email our support at mortgagecoach.com, and we'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.